On the news, Tinubu meets Ogoni leaders in Abuja following calls for cleanup of Niger Delta region. Nigeria's Minister of Communication, Bosun Tijani, justifies 50% telecom tariff hikes as increase necessary to cushion rising costs. And Sanwo-Olu meets new Lagos Speaker Miranda, pledges harmonious work relationships. Thanks for joining us on News Now on TV 360 Nigeria. I'm Simisola Atiku. President Bola Tinubu and the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, have held a closed-door meeting with a delegation of Ogoni leaders led by Governor Siminalayi Fubara of Rivers State. The meeting comes after a coalition of civil society organizations demanded an allocation of $1 trillion from the federal government for the cleanup of the Niger Delta and compensation for lost livelihoods before the resumption of crude oil production in Ogoniland. In a statement, the organizations expressed concerns over the Nigerian government's reported plans to resume oil production in the communities and described the move as a disregard for environmental justice and the rights of the Ogoni people. The statement further highlighted the historical environmental degradation caused by oil activities in Ogoni land, documented in the 2011 UNEP report, which revealed widespread pollution of land, water, and air. While expressing disappointment that the government has yet to fully implement the UNEP recommendations or prioritize the cleanup of the region, the organizations demanded a halt to any plans to resume oil activities until the Ogoni people are meaningfully consulted and their environment fully remediated. The Minister of Communications and Innovation and Digital Economy, Bosun Tijani, has attributed the recent 50% increase in telecommunications tariffs to global inflation and rising operational costs. Speaking to journalists moments after defending his ministry's budget for 2025, the minister mentioned the decision aligns with broader economic trends. According to him, the tariff acts as a sales tax, causing a one-off price increase rather than sustained inflation.
Part of the development, I think the hike is also based on inflation globally. This is a sector that has not increased price for a long time. In fact, what government has been doing is managing the situation. The companies have been crying out for a long time that they're struggling. The cost of diesel, you can imagine how much they bought diesel last year and how much it's going for this year. And this is not a problem that is unique to Nigeria. But what we've done with them is saying that telecommunication services are now extremely important to our people. So it's not something you can just increase price haphazardly. But also, how do we support them to ensure that these companies continue to stay sustainable? This is a sector that employs about 15,000 people directly, the employees of these MNOs, but also indirectly, I think there's about 500,000 people working in the sector, whether those that are selling recharge cards or any of those services. We have to make sure that the sector continues to stay sustainable. But at the same time, we don't want to inflict pain on Nigerians. So they were claiming for 100% increase in tariff. I think, as you can see from what NCC released yesterday, we had a lot of back and forth. They've been talking about since even before we were appointed. The first time I met them almost 16, 17 months ago, it was the same thing they were talking about. But now I think we've set it at about 50% to ensure that they can find ways to stay sustainable, but also the price hike is not significant to the point where it becomes painful for our people.
The Nigerian government's recent announcement of a 50% hike in telecom tariffs has sparked concern among millions of citizens who rely on affordable mobile services for communication, business, and everyday life. While many acknowledge the rising cost of operations faced by telecom companies, they argue that the value of calls and data services has long been a cause for concern. Residents in Lagos say the cost of telecom services don't correspond with the validity period advertised by telecom operators. While the government says the hike is necessary for industry sustainability, Lagos residents say measures to cushion its impact on citizens are necessary.
I'm a victim of the situation on ground, and I'm really affected by the consequences of what is really happening in the country currently, which I I'm being reducted of the amount of data I use, because as at a year back, I spent about 10,000 naira on data, including my laptop, including my mobile phones. But at the moment right now, I spend about 1,000%. Like it's even higher than what I'm even expecting, because even making calls is so expensive, and data usage right now on my mobile phone gets exhausted easily. Like it's so very uncomfortable.
From beginning, they are not fair with us, because they bring many things. When you get to your phone, you say you want to subscribe for a data, they will give you many options. They say this one is for per week, this one is a day, this one is this, and at times you do the one of per week. By day you see everything exhausted. So I see it as a cheating. So at times when you want to subscribe for data, you now be thinking, is this one's going to be enough for you? So at times where we normally spend maybe 2,000, we see now maybe 10,000, 15,000, because many of us cannot do without having data in our phone. Because some people want to speak with us, they don't want to call. They prefer chatting, or they call on WhatsApp. So we can't do with it. That's why they are taking advantage of us, because they know we can't do with it, many of us.
With the way things are in the world now, everybody, you can't do things without data. And there's no way you can manage your data as a business person, because you don't know when a business call will come in, or anything that has to do with internet will come in. So there's no way you can manage it. It's just for you to adjust yourself on other areas so that you can accommodate that change.
Nigeria's Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Ahmed Dangiwa, has sought for more funds for 7 critical programs of the housing sector. Dangiwa made the call during the budget defense session of the State Senate Committee on Housing at the National Assembly Complex. The housing projects include the Renewed Hope Cities and Estates Housing Program and Slum Upgrading and Urban Renewal Program, among others. TV360's Falashade Olusegun filed the report.
The 2025 housing budget focuses on the Renewed Hope Housing Initiative. With over 10,000 housing units under construction in 14 locations nationwide, the initiative is expected to create over 252,000 skilled jobs. Speaking during the 83.75 billion naira housing budget proposal to the Senate Committee on Housing, the Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Ahmed Dangiwa, highlighted land allocation delays by some state governors as a significant obstacle to the initiative. He also cited ongoing projects from previous budgets as the reason for the proposed increase in allocation.
Plan to build 50,000 housing units under Phase 1 across the country. Currently, we have over 10,112 housing units that are spread across the country under construction in 14 locations nationwide, creating 252,800 skilled jobs. We have made efforts to bring forward a magazine that shows all the project locations and during the groundbreaking which we did. And I think we have asked the Secretariat to distribute it to the members of the committee. This is the Renewed Hope Cities and Estates program that we did for the 14 states which you have stated. They are all spread across the country. Your Excellency, out of this 10,112, 3,500 units are in 13 locations, in 13 states, 2 in each geopolitical zone of the Federation. We ensure that there is an equitable spread in all the geopolitical zones for the state that were able to provide us land at the time of the conceiving of the projects.
Senators questioned the practice of awarding contracts without secured funding and sought clarification on unutilized funds and uncompleted projects.
Yes. And the remark is projects ongoing. Yes. My question on that is that you are aware that everything that has to do with 2023 appropriation, whether supplementary or the main budget, main appropriation, lapsed to 31st December last year. 31st December.
Yes.
So there is no more extension coming into 2024. So what it means is that everything about the supplementary appropriation should have been concluded.
Raised, but I'm not too clear as to the minister's answer in terms of your mechanism, Honorable Minister, by which you intend to accomplish the first one, which is the one that 100 billion was released for.
What could have been the reason why same government that in supplementary appropriation was able to give you 100 billion, in 2024 budget 162 billion, is now giving you 83 billion? I think we should really think through this.
In response, Dangiwa assured the committee that outstanding debts would not impede project completion and reiterated its commitment to ensuring all ongoing developments are finished on time.
And in Lagos, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has pledged to work harmoniously with the newly appointed Lagos State House Speaker, House of Assembly, Mojisola Meranda, to deliver policies that will benefit residents. Sanwo-Olu gave the pledge when he and his deputy, Obafemi Hamzat, received the Speaker and other principal officers of the House shortly before the commencement of the weekly State Executive Council meeting. The governor congratulated Miranda on her election, describing her emergence as well-deserving and commendable. He also promised to work with Miranda in upholding the principles of separation of powers, which he says remains the bedrock of democracy. And in other developments, a coalition of civil society groups has criticized the November 2024 report presented by Amnesty International on the End Bad Governance protest, accusing the movement of being biased and incomplete. In the report, Amnesty International condemned the actions of security agencies, citing human rights abuses, including the killing of protesters and the arrest of minors. However, the coalition argued that the report failed to capture instances of violence in northern Nigeria during the protest, presenting only one side of the story. It emphasized the need for balanced documentation that reflects the experiences of all regions affected by the unrest, rather than what it described as a selective narrative.
We stand firm in our belief in peaceful protests and in holding the government accountable for its actions. However, we cannot stand by and allow misleading reports that fail to paint an accurate picture of events to go unchallenged. The August 24 protests, though marked by violence, were ultimately an expression of the frustration of the Nigerian people, and while we cannot condone the violence that occurred, we cannot ignore the fact that criminal elements hijacked the protest to sow chaos. The Amnesty International report is inaccurate, misleading, and does not reflect the true events that transpire.
The problem with the Amnesty International is that they did not find a way to collaborate with other stakeholders who were on the ground. I know that the police could be very funny, but I don't see where the police has gone out with explosives, which they used in Borno. Not one, not two. And they were locally assembled. If you say the Nigerian police came out with tear gas, I will tell you, yeah, very possible.
So what we are equally challenging Amnesty International to do is that they should give out verifiable information. If you are saying that 24 people died, out of the 24 people that died, at least you should be able to give us 20 names of people that died, their identity. Otherwise, it will be left in the realm of speculations. And let me tell you, from our experiences, we have seen situations whereby a report was skewed to achieve a particular end. And Amnesty International should take cognizance of the fact that the way Nigeria is configured, their platform is possibly hijacked to be used to misinform people.
It's time for a short break. Coming up on News Now, U.S. President Donald Trump issues pardons for defendants charged in the January 6 attack on the Capitol. Stay with us for details. Welcome back. Here's a recap of our top stories. President Bola Tinubu and the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory Nyesom Wike have held a closed-door meeting with a delegation of Ogoni leaders led by Governor Siminala Ifubara of Rivers State. The meeting comes after a coalition of civil society organizations demanded an allocation of $1 trillion from the federal government for the cleanup of the Niger Delta region and compensation for lost livelihoods before the resumption of crude oil production in Ogoni land. In a statement, the organizations expressed concerns over the Nigerian government's reported plans to resume oil production in the communities and described the move as a disregard for environmental justice and the rights of the Ogoni people. We also told you that Nigeria's Minister of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy, Bosun Tijani, has attributed the recent 50% increase in telecommunications tariffs to global inflation and rising operational costs. The minister, who appeared before the Joint Committees on Communications, mentioned the decision aligns with broader economic patterns where tariffs can lead to higher consumer prices due to the added costs on imported goods. Speaking to journalists, moment after defending his ministry's budget, the minister said the 50% adjustment aligns with broader economic trends. If you missed any of our news bulletins, of more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV and AVO TV, or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery, and Apple Store. On Facebook, we're TV360 Online.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those their silly lies.
Wait, do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app. It gives people like us a sure way to track implementation of constituency projects. It gives valid and verified information on location of projects, amounts allocated, amount funded, the level of job done, and even the profiles of concerned legislators. You and I can post directly on this app.
Are you serious?
This is the GoTo app if you want to know how our Commonwealth is being expanded by the government.
Wow. Let's even see if what this man said is true. Show me.
The Construct app is developed by Other People Nigeria with support from USAID and is available on both Google Play Store and Apple Store.
And it's true.
Of course, I told you.
Tamilore Akinkolia joins us with what's new on the world of business. Over to you, Tamilore.
Thank you, Sime. We're going to short break here and be back with stock market report. And the Nigerian exchange market closed on a positive note on Tuesday, marking the second day of trading with a 0.75% appreciation. The all-share index gained 103 basis points, pushing the market's capitalization to 63 trillion naira. MTN Nigeria led the top gainers with a remarkable 10% increase in share price, closing at 256 naira 30 kobo per share. Square Nigeria followed as another major gainer in today's trading section. Now, a total of 127 NGS-listed equities participated in day's trading, with 29 stocks closing as gainers and 28 as losers. Trading activity saw a total of 439 million volumes of shares, exchanging 30,087 deals, amounting to market value of 8 billion naira. Now, this represents a 24% increase in volume, a 7% rise in turnover, but a 6% drop in the number of deals when compared to Monday, January 20th. Now, on the global stage, major stocks indices ended in the greens, buoyed by executive orders signed by the newly inaugurated U.S. President Donald Trump. As the details are showed on your screen, the UK FTSE ended at 0.33%, US Dow Jones at 0.94%, and Japan's Nikkei at 0.32%. Now, in the foreign exchange markets, the naira traded at 1,675 naira to the dollars, 2,080 naira to the pounds, and 1,700 naira to the euros on the black market. And that's it on both business and stock market report. Over to you, Simi, for the rest of the news.
Thank you very much, Tamilore. And on the foreign scene, Tanzania has confirmed the outbreak of Marburg virus disease in the northwestern Kagera region, following the identification of one positive case after laboratory analysis of suspected cases. Tanzania's President Samia Hassan made the disclosure during a press briefing in the country's capital, Dodoma, alongside the Director General of the World Health Organization, Tedros Ghebreyesus. According to the press release on the website of the WHO Africa region, laboratory tests confirmed one patient was infected with the Marburg virus, while other suspected patients tested negative. President Hassan expressed confidence in the country's ability to contain the outbreak, citing past successes in managing similar health crises. And shortly after taking office as the 47th President of the United States on Monday, January 20, Donald Trump has issued pardons or commutations for more than 1,500 people convicted or charged in connection with the Capitol riot 4 years ago. 40 members of two far-right groups, the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers, are among those whose sentences were commuted by the new Republican president as he took office on Monday. Trump also signed an order directing the Department of Justice to drop all pending cases against the suspects accused in the riot. Trump had praised the defendants on his campaign trail as hostages, patriots, and warriors, and pardoning them became a major theme of his rallies. And on sports, the chairman of the National Sports Commission, Shehu Diko, has put the various sports federations in the country on their toes, warning them that the NSC will not show interest in their international competitions if they fail to come up with grassroots development programs in their respective sports. Diko, while discussing the Commission's Renewed Hope initiative for Nigeria's sports economy during an X space on Saturday, said the move was necessary to see if the federations planned and align them with their calendar. He also announced that they have until the end of January 2025 to comply with the NSC's directive. And Diego Simeone has set a clear target for Atletico Madrid in this season's Champions League, that's reaching the final in Munich on May 31. Under his leadership, Atletico has reached the final twice, but lost both times to Real Madrid in 2014 and 2016. Their best performance since then was reaching the semi-finals in the 2016-2017 season, where they were again defeated by Real Madrid. Currently, Atletico Madrid is positioned 11th in the Champions League standings with 12 points from 6 matches. That's all on News Now. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again next time.